All right, I can't believe it's already September. Fall is in the air. It's already starting to cool off, and it's almost a wrap on another summer. So time for another real estate market update. And I'm just wanted to add that I'm going to be adding something to the real estate market update every month. It's something I've been toying around with in my mind because I don't want to make the videos too long, but I just figured it'd be useful information to start throwing out some information on current interest rates. Just so you kind of have an idea of like what's going on currently. I just want to throw a full disclaimer in there is, in no way am I promising these rates or anything like that. I'm just getting a few rates just from a few local lenders just to throw them out there. It could change by the time you see this video and go in there. So I don't want to say you can definitely get this rate, but just so you have a ballpark idea of what it is at the time of making the video. And obviously the videos go through editing and different things before it even goes onto YouTube. But just so you know, just so you have an idea, just to help you out. Again, not to promise anything, but just to help you out with a guide as far as what some of the rates are going at. So I'll start right off with that. And I'm actually going to do a full video on rates, explaining different rates, explaining different things. This is just going to be really, really quick. I'm just going to pretty much give you rates on like a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. A couple things you want to notate here is there's two different rates when you're looking at mortgage rates. So there's the interest rate and then there's the APR. So the interest rate is the interest that's charged through the loan. But what you really want to look at is the APR, because the APR is going to be the annual rate that you're paying, with the additional fees associated with the interest rates. So look at both numbers. And like I said, this credit, so many things go into it. So don't take this to the bank. Sorry about my corny joke again. But you know what I mean. So anyway, so let's dive into it. So interest rates right now, local, especially if you watch the hometowns, what St. Anne's Credit Union, you see those around town. Right now, they're 30-year fixed rate. Their interest rate is 6.375%, and their APR is 6.42%. So you see, APR is always going to be a little bit higher because it includes everything, all the other little fees that pop in that you have to pay, not just interest. And then just to compare another local bank, Leader Bank. So I've worked with Leader Bank with plenty of customers and clients, and so I'm not going to dive much in. So just bear with me with this. So 30-year conforming, so that just means it's going to conform to certain stipulations, like for example 25% down. So not everybody has 25% down, so they wouldn't qualify for the conforming rate. You might qualify for the jumbo rate or whatever it is. So a lot of different factors. Like I said, I'll do a deep dive video into all this. But for Leader Bank, for example, on a conforming loan, the interest rate is 5.99%. APR 6.043%. And then for the jumbo 30-year fixed, interest is 6.125, APR 6.169. So just to throw real numbers out there, those are real numbers from real local lenders. I mean, you can go online and you got Rocket Mortgage, which I've seen people use. There's so many lenders, but I just want to give you a ballpark, and I won't spend as much time explaining it in future monthly market updates, just because I'm tipping it off this month. And always know, you can always skip ahead. I always put chapters in my video, so in the future, if you don't even want to hear about interest rates, you can just skip this first section and just start watching when I start talking about the homes. But I just wanted to, I figure knowing a few interest rates might be helpful for you, so you kind of know what's going on with the interest rates. We can start to track together. We can look at when I'm doing the videos, if they're going up, they're going down, staying the same, so you kind of have an idea. But anyway, enough about interest rates. Let's dive into the market update. So Massachusetts, average sales price, $831,000. Average list price, $823,000. So on average, 2% above asking. And average days on market, 31. This is based on 3,737 homes that sold in the last 30 days in Massachusetts. And we're seeing a lot of similar trends, but I'm starting to see a couple of categories that are starting to buck the trend a little. So again, from 200,000 all the way up to 1.9 million, you're seeing 1% above, 3% above, 2% above, 3% above. Everything is at asking or above in that category on average. A couple categories that jumped out to me in that whole category of price points, the $400,000 to $449,000 range, there was 241 homes in this range, and they went on average 3% above asking. So that was the highest as far as above asking percentage of all those categories when you dive closer into it. The $500,000 to $599,000 range, which we're really seeing, especially if you watched last month, the hot towns and the market update, that range is really becoming a hot range. So number of homes is what I'm really seeing a lot with that range. Is that's almost, not every time, but almost every city, town that I look at, from 500 to 599,000, typically that has some of the most number of homes sold in that month. So Massachusetts overall, that's the number one. Actually, I take that back. It's number two. Close to number one. So 527 homes were sold in that range, and they went on average 2% above asking. But the range rate above it, 600,000 to 699,000, actually had 534 homes, so 7 more homes. But I was diving in on the 500 to 599 because we've been seeing it now for a couple of months now, and I continue to see it. But looking at this number, 600 to 699,000, maybe they're going to start creeping in with that one. But just so you see what's going on with that range we've been talking about for the last couple of months. And then some of the flip homes, or the lower price point homes, starting to see some trends that are being bucked. So from the 150 to 199 category, kind of seeing the same thing, going a little below asking. 24 homes in that category. But what's interesting to me is from the $100,000 to $149,000 mark, 6 homes in that category, so decent sample size, on average 14% above asking. So that was kind of an oddball in there. Because when you go right below that to below 99,000, 20% below asking. So usually what we've been seeing is the lower price point properties have been going below asking, all the mid-range have been going at asking or above, and then the high end has been going below asking again. But now I'm starting to see some categories in the lower price points that are going above, and I'm also starting to see some in the higher price points that are going above. Overall, the trend is continuing on the high-end properties, from 3 million to 3,999,000. 2% below. Then the one above that, from 4 million to 4.9 million. 3% below. Then 5 to 10 million. 4% below. But one outlier, just one, but I'll throw it out there. There was one home that went, from the 10 million plus category. It was listed at 8,750,000 and it sold for 10 million even. So it went for 14% above asking, that one home, and it was only on the market for 22 days, and it must have been cash offer. It was 22 days to offer, 22 days on the market. So that's what happened with that home there. All right, now let's dive over to Bristol County. And one thing, actually I forgot to mention, I should have mentioned at the beginning, but reading glasses. I'm getting old. I went to the doctor, eye doctor, last year now. And all of a sudden I couldn't see. I don't know if I was doing too much screen time, looking at properties, looking at all different things. But no, they just said that's what happens, You hit your mid-40s, that's what happens. It's part of the deal. So, I've been wearing them, when I need to. But just in case you're wondering, that's why I have the glasses on. And I might have them on in future videos. We'll see. It definitely makes reading these reports a lot easier. So anyway, so let's go to Bristol County, right? So Bristol County, the average sales price was $609,000. The average list price, $602,000. And on average, 1% over asking, based on 278 properties. Average days on market, 35. And again, similar categories, similar trends, from 300,000 all the way down to 2.9 million. All those categories were above asking by like 2%, 3%, 1%. even 4% on one of the homes. There was just one though in that category that did dip down a little, and it was only 2 homes, but still from the $2 million to $2.49 million range, 2% below asking. But it kind of goes in trend with, you know, the higher end homes overall have been going a little below asking. So, but that was the only one from pretty much from 300,000 on, as high as it goes. You know, that was the only category that was below asking. And again, the lower brackets from 150,000 to 199,000, just one home, but it went for 17% above asking. So, you know, we're starting to see some of those lower ends go above asking. And then the 200 to 249,000, it's one home, but went for 3% over. But then for some reason, 250 to 299,000, 7 homes, 10% below asking on average. So, you know, if you're in the market trying to find a deal from that 250 to 299 mark, it's still going below asking. So you might want to dial in and look into those properties a little closer. Average days on market was 60, so they have been sitting a little bit, but they went for 10%, you know, below asking on average. All right, let's take a look at multifamily, so investment property. So Massachusetts, average sales price, $814,000. Average list price, $810,000. And average days on market, 30. 456 properties this was based on. And again, similar trends, 350,000 down to 2.9 million. They're all asking, above asking, you know, 3%, 0%. But again, one little category from 1.5 to 1.9 million kind of reverted back a little bit for whatever reason. That category 3% below asking, and that was based on 19 homes. But as soon as you go above that, 2 million to 2.49 million, you know, went for asking. There was 8 homes. But the category that really jumped out is 2.5 million to 2.9 million. There's only 3 homes, but on average 9% above asking. So 9%, when you're talking at those numbers, pretty significant dollars. You know, the average list price was $2,408,000, and the average sales price was $2,583,000. But then, as soon as you go above the $3 million mark, you know, 3 million all the way up to 4.9 million, you know, it's 3% below, 5% below. There was a home that sold for asking price in the $5 to $9.9 million range. You know, that hold was on the market for $6,999,000, and that's what they got for it, $6,999,000. It was on the market for 266 days, but they got their asking price for it. So, so they made out at the end of the day by getting their asking price. All right, now let's dive over to Bristol County multifamily. Bristol County average sales price $595,000. Average list price $586,000. So on average 2% above asking. Average days on market 28, based on 67 properties. And again, similar trend. So from 450,000, you know, to 799,000, 5% above, 2%, 4%, 2%, all above. For whatever reason, the 800,000 to $899,000 range, there was 4 homes, and those actually dipped below asking by 2%. So they were asking 874,000. They got on average 854,000. And then from the 350, so there's 2 categories here where it's just flipping around all over the place. So from 350,000 to 399,000, 2 homes sold, and they went on average 13% above asking. But as soon as you go to the category, you know, above that, 400,000 to 449,000, 6 homes in this category, dipped all the way down to 8% below asking. So from 350 to 399, you're going 13% over asking, and then as soon as you go to from 400 to 449, you're going 8% below asking. So pretty big line of demarcation there for whatever reason. And the homes on the market, that home that sold, you know, the 2 homes that sold for 13% above, the average days on market were only 2 days on market. So that was just a hot price point. Maybe that home was just listed, you know, lower than, it's probably what happened, lower than what market value was, because people jumped on it quick and it went for 13% above asking on average on 2 homes. So again, lower price points, we're starting to see some above asking. So from 200,000 to 249,000, 7% above asking. And then from 250,000 to 299,000, 5% over asking. So starting to buck the trend a little bit with some things. All right, let's dive into my hometowns. So Swansea's been heating up. So average sales price, 454,000. Average list price, 437,000. On average, 4% over asking. Only 17 days on market in Swansea. So homes are selling a lot quicker in Swansea than overall Massachusetts and Bristol County. This is based on 10 homes, so decent sized sample size. Every category, it's funny, all the homes sold in Swansea were in this category from 300,000 to 599,000. So all of them, boom, in that small little section. You know, but you're seeing above asking, obviously, to get 4% for the town. You know, there was one that was listed at 329 and they got 343 for it. That's 4% over asking. There was only one category that was really concerning as far as a seller's perspective. Obviously a buyer's perspective, this is great to see. But you had one home that was listed at 399 and they got 385 for it. So it was on the market for 33 days, but they got 4% below asking. Also, you know, it started to heat up. So the 2 hot categories are right above that. So from 399 to 400,000. So 400,000 to 449,000, that range, you're seeing 5% above asking. There was 3 homes in that category. And then from 450 to 499, 3 homes in that category. And they went on average 8% above asking. So, you know, you're looking 10 days on market, 17 days on market on average. So really good numbers. You know, 17 was for the town, like I talked about. That one home was on the market for 33 days. The one that was 399,000. So if you took that out of the equation, I mean, all the homes are selling even faster than that, you know, so even faster than the 17 days on average. I mean, you look at 15 days, 10 days, 17, 22. So Swansea is heating up as far as people trying to, you know, move either into Swansea or within Swansea, because it's just, things are selling fast in Swansea. All right, let's dive over to Seekonk. So Seekonk, average sales price, 655,000. Average list price, 656,000. On average, 1% below asking. And average days on market, catch this, I had to do a double take on this, 77 days. 77. But there's a reason for that. So there was a couple categories that just had homes that were on the market for a long time. So from 700,000 to $799,000 range, you know, it was 2 homes in that category, and on average, 180 days on market. But they ended up going on average 3% above asking. So, you know, they kept it on the market a while, but they ended up getting above asking. Then from the $1 million to $1.49 million range, it was just one home. It was on the market for $974,000. It was on the market for 133 days, and they ended up selling it for $1,014,000. So they got 4% over asking. And, you know, as far as, there's 8 homes overall in Seekonk that sold to get these numbers. So a little bit less than Swansea, but only 2 homes, so still decent size. But the one category that jumped out from, you know, buyer's perspective is, you know, it was only one home, so I hate to run trends on this, but they listed it at 450 and they got 385. So it went on average for 14% below asking. And that was on the market for 42 days. All right, let's dive over to Somerset. Somerset, average sales price, 566,000. Average list price, 558,000. Overall, 2% above asking. So average days on market, 44. Number of homes, 14. So Somerset had a decent amount of homes that sold in the last 30 days. Every category was pretty consistent. So asking, 2% above, 1% above, 5% above in one category, and 3 of the 14 were in this one category, and it was the $450,000 to $499,000 range. On average, they listed at $454,000, and they got $475,000, and they were on, you know, the market for 16 days. on average. And you know, the one we've been talking about, the $500,000 to $599,000 range, that had the most number of homes also in Somerset, with 4 of the 14 were in that category, and those went on average 1% above asking. But number of homes, that was a leading, you know, price point in Somerset. All right, let's dive over to Dighton. Dighton, average sales price $558,000, average list price $552,000, average days on market 39, based on 6 homes. And on average, they went 1% over asking. So again, every category was asking or above asking by a little bit. So you got 3% above was the highest as far as, you know, over asking. And again, it's that $500,000 to $599,000 range we've been seeing a lot of trends for. 2 homes, so that was tied for the most homes for price point. The other one that had 2 was $600,000 to $699,000. So again, if it's not that $500,000 to $599,000, we're seeing it creep up a little into the $600,000 to $699,000 range as far as number of homes. Overall is what we're seeing a lot of the towns. But you know, that $500,000 to $599,000 not only was tied for the most number of homes, but it had, you know, the highest above asking, you know, percentage at 3% over. So on average, they listed at $512,000 and they got $524,000. So 3% above asking overall on average. All right, let's dive over to Rehoboth. Rehoboth, average sales price $698,000, average list price $704,000, and on average, you know, right below asking, 1% below. Average days on market 41, so a high number of days on market. This was based on 9 homes, and a little bit here to talk about with the categories. They're not all totally consistent. This was interesting. So as we've been seeing, the $500,000 to $599,000 be a strong category as far as, you know, over asking percentage and number of homes. And here there was 2 homes, 2 of the 9 were in that category, but they went on average 8% below asking. So they were asking $579,000 and they were getting $535,000 on average, and 18 days on market. But the hottest category in Rehoboth, from a seller's perspective, was from $700,000 to $799,000. That was 4 homes, and they went on average 1% above, but that had the highest number of homes sold was the $700,000 to $799,000, you know, in Rehoboth. And on average, they were listing it at $734,000, and they ended up getting $737,000. And the average days on market was 69. So a lot different. You know, the $500,000 to $599,000 is still selling quicker, 18 days, but, you know, the homes went for below asking in that category, like we just talked about. So, so that's a wrap. This month's real estate market update. Sorry, this video is a little bit longer. Dove into interest rates a little bit. I've even been thinking about throwing Boston in the mix, just to kind of throw a comparison. Why not throw our, you know, capital out there? Just see where these towns rank versus Boston, Massachusetts, you know, or Massachusetts overall. So I may do that on the next one. We'll see. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, I look forward to doing the next video. I'm actually going to do one, same outfit. I'm going to do it right after this. And that is the Massachusetts counties update. So I haven't done one of those in over 2 years. So I'm going to do one, you know, right after this. It'll be a separate video. It'll come out, you know, a little bit later by the time I edit everything, get it out there. But that's what I'm going to do now. And a couple other videos I got in the works is I'm going to be doing a video, you know, on the loans and the interest rates, just for a guide, just to throw some information out there, just so you have some. It'll be its own video, just so you understand a little bit, so I don't take up so much time with one of these videos. So anyway, thank you for watching. Enjoy the fall. September's here. Football season's here, so great time of the year. Leaves are going to start changing. It's going to be beautiful. So enjoy it. Have a great day.